So yes, here today we will be talking about acids and bases. So let's talk about acids first. What are acids? What do they do? Okay, what do they contain? So when we are talking about acids, the very first thing that comes to our mind whenever we are talking about acids, they are proton donor. This is the good definition to go for it when you are writing the definitions for GCSE, igcse's. All right, so now here, acids proton donor. Which ions do they give? They give H plus ion. Gives H plus ions. H plus ions are what? They are hydrogen ions. H plus ions, hydrogen ions in water. And water. When I say that they give hydrogen ions, what does it mean? Let's take the examples of some strong acids. Okay, what are they? Strong acids, when I am talking about, we will take the example of very common acids that we go for hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid. So when I say hydrochloric acid, what is the formula of it? HCl. So as you can see, it has hydrogen ion in it. Now you would be wondering, what does it mean, a strong acid? A strong acid is the one which will have pH 1 to 2. On the pH scale, we have pH scale 0 till 14, where below 7 are acidic pH, right? And above 7 will be alkaline. And at 7, it is neutral. Later, I'll give you the pH scale as well. So here, pH, which is 1 till 2, and strong. This is the keyword that we know. What does strong means? That it completely ionizes. Ionize or dissociate means break down completely into what? Completely into H plus ions when dissolved in water. H plus ions when dissolved in HCl is one of the example of strong acids. We have other examples too. We can talk about what we can talk about. Sulfuric acid, H2SO4. We can talk about nitric acid, HNO3. These three are common acids which are commonly used in the laboratory. Right here, this is what? This is sulfuric acid. And we have nitric acid. So these three are strong acids, and you can see what is the common thing in all three acids, that they have this H ion, right? This is the thing that we see, and this is the thing that we have said here, that they will have what? They will have H plus ions. And the strong acids which will be completely ionizing into hydrogen ions. Later we do for weak acids. So it is going to be the opposite of it. Means weak acids will be partially ionized into hydrogen ions. Okay, now we will continue with weak acids. So similarly, like strong acids, they were completely ionized, and weak acids, they will ionize partially. Ionize partially into hydrogen ions. This is how you need to explain in the exam. Ionize partially into hydrogen ions. How about the pH of it? When we are talking about, they will have pH about 5 to 6. Have pH 5 to 6. At 7, it will already be neutral. So the pH which is below 7 will be considered as acidic pH. Then, here let's talk about some of the examples of it when we are talking about The very common name of it that we take is vinegar, right? Vinegar, what is that? That is ethanoic acid if we are talking about vinegar, ethanoic acid. And what is the formula of ethanoic acid? It is CH3COOH. So as you know, we have learned earlier that, all acids will have what? H plus ions. So here you can see it has H plus ions. You see what are the ions? This is ethanoate ion, CO3 minus and H plus. So whether weak acid or a strong acid, it will have what? These hydrogen ions in it. So now here we will continue with bases. Okay, what are bases? Whenever we are talking about bases are basically proton acceptor. Like we were doing acids, they are proton donor. Here also keeping in mind, you might be wondering what is the difference between alkalis and bases. So alkalis are what? Alkalis are soluble bases. What are alkalis? They are soluble bases. So means insoluble bases will not be called alkalis. So means not all bases are alkalis, right? But all alkalis are bases. Okay, so alkalis are soluble bases. So when the basic definition of it we are writing, what are they? We will talk about that. They are proton acceptor. Proton acceptor. Now let's go to the definition of it completely, that it ionize into what? Ionize into hydroxide ions. Like acids have H plus ions, right? They have what? They have hydroxide ions. We already know, let me give you here H2O, right? Water. How I write this? HHOH. Still have two O and two H and one O. So what does it have? H plus and OH minus. So the ones which will have this H plus ion, they will be acids. And the ones which will have OH minus, they will be alkalis, right? So remember that. So here coming back, ionize or dissociate into hydroxide ions, I write also, so you remember, hydroxide ions, okay, when dissolved in water. Similarly, we need to remember what is the difference between strong alkali and weak alkali, like we were doing for acid. So here also strong alkali, what it will ionize completely. Strong alkali, or we say base, it will be what? Ionize completely. Ionize completely, what? Completely into hydroxide ions, right? We have done. And what is the weak base? It will ionize partially. Ionize partially. What will be the pH of both of it? This thing also we need to remember, that ionize partially. pH of it is also important when we are talking about what is the pH of weak base and what is the pH of strong base or alkali when I'm talking about. So strong base will have pH about what? pH about 12 till 14. pH, where do I write? I write here. Strong alkali, it has pH about 12 till 14, and weak base have about pH 8 till 10. So yeah, this is also something that we need to remember. Then how about the examples of it? When I'm talking about a strong alkali, what are the examples that come to our mind? The examples for it will be strong alkali are what? NaOH, sodium hydroxide, KOH, potassium hydroxide. They are going to be strong bases. Then how about weak bases? Weak bases example, we can take very common example of ammonia solution. Ammonia solution. Okay, NH4OH, ammonium hydroxide. Ammonia, when we are talking about ammonia, is NH3. Okay, so yeah, this is about our bases.